It's coming up Sunday, just in case some of you didn't know that. So how many fathers do we have in here? Raise your hand.
Yeah. Woo.
All right. Yeah. Father's Day. I think it's like a third-class holiday. We're right there with Flag Day. I don't know if you noticed. It's like I was at the grocery store ad, and it's like you can always tell how big the holiday is. It's got I noticed all the grocery store had Father's Day. It had meat. That was it. Mother's Day. It's like mother. It's all this like you got flowers. You got bags, you got champagne, you got chocolate covered strawberry, you got candy. It just goes on and on. It's a whole dang ad. Then you flip it over, and there's the wine section. Guess what? Mom again. That's Dad. We're a little short, but hey, you guys give birth, so I guess that will put you all ahead of us. But yeah, Mother's Day's in May, right?
Yes.
So, it's also nicer temperature. You get the cooler temperature in May, and then we got June for Father's Day. That's just, you go out May, go picnic, June. Anyway, I'll quit harping on it. It's just one of my own little pet peeves. Father's Day, we don't get enough credit on some things, but like I said, you guys give birth, okay, we'll give it to you. But hey, Father's Day coming up. We've got some great comics who can come out here and entertain you with some different things about their fathers, or them being a father, or we've even got a brand new father. So he's learning. It's funny to watch a new father learn. You don't turn them upside down, Jared. No, that's not how you do it. But anyway, so we've got some fun for you guys tonight. We thank y'all for coming. We appreciate it. So get to sit back, get ready to laugh. Basically, I'm gonna come out here and I'm fixing to do my set, and then we'll call out the other guys, okay? You guys got that right? And you guys look like a fairly intelligent crowd. There's a few of you I'm a little waffling about, mostly in the back, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Hey, here's what I'd like to do. I'm gonna steal this from Miss Joey Savage, a regular comic who's here at the understudy. I'm gonna steal her little bit she does. I'm gonna say, my dad is so cheap, and you guys are gonna say, how cheap is he, okay? Do you think we can do that?
Yes.
Can we play along? All right. My dad is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
Hey, that was pretty good. That was better than I thought it. My dad is so cheap, he buys his canned goods with no labels.
You stole mine.
Yeah, he buys with no labels. My mother used to open them up, and she goes, I don't know what the hell's in here. He goes, it'll be a surprise. Most of the time it wasn't, though. It was like crap people wouldn't buy when they had a label. So yeah, he was like that. My dad is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
Hey, he buys underwear from the thrift store. Yeah, it's pretty sad. He literally called me the other day. He says, hey boy, what size underwear do you wear? I said, Dad, that's kind of a personal question between a father and son, but why do you need to know? He goes, well, they're having a sale at the thrift store. Well, first off, how bad's it got to be if they're having a sale at the thrift store? I said, you know what, Dad? I like being the first person to wear my underwear. Said, I don't think they've ever been worn. I don't think was the key word there. And then I said, yeah, okay, but I said, I still don't want them. And he goes, well, I got 7 pair. I said, I got one for each day. They're silk boxers. I said, well, good for you. I talked to him last week, and I said, hey, Dad, how's it going? Well, I got this real bad case of jock itch. I said, Dad, I don't think that's jock itch. I think that's from your past underwear and cramps. No, I've had cramps before, so I learned something new about my dad. Wow. All right, my dad is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
He had a coupon for his physical. And then he had to have a coupon for the colonoscopy. Here's the problem. The coupon was from Mexico. And he went. Colonoscopy from Mexico. That's pretty cheap. I'm sorry, that's pretty cheap. My father is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
He got a reduced rate on his coffin. He literally talked to people and he goes like, well, my wife's coffin less than mine. It's because you're bigger. Look, if I lose weight, will my coffin rate go down? Sure will. 6 months later, command comes in, loses 50 pounds. Most people lose, weight for a better lifestyle. My dad lost weight for death rate. That's pretty cheap. My dad is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
You guys are good because it's the same momentum going. My dad is so cheap, he buys everything with a red tag on it. Everything, marked down. Everything's marked down, no matter what it is. He's a big believer in the markdown. My dad is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
He took a bus to Seattle. $59 round trip. That's not bad. Took him 6 days to get there and 6 days to get back. That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap. So, yeah, one more time. We'll go one more time. My dad is so cheap.
How cheap is he?
He bought 25 boxes of I forgot the word. I'm sorry. We'll get that. He's cheap. Let's just put it that way. Let's move on. Sorry. Basically, mom and dad, I got 3 kids. Yay. 3 kids. I mean, come on, give me a yay.
Yeah,
They're all adults now, but you know, I've got 4 grandkids, and I hear the way kids are nowadays. So I feel sorry for anybody that has young kids because, man, it's tough. I hear about it all the time. But I had 3 kids. I had a daughter and 2 boys. Well, I still got them. It's like they're gone. But I still have them. I had a daughter and 2 boys. Adam, Amanda, and then there was Eric. The 3rd one. You always get a little tired when you get to that 3rd one. But yeah, I had three kids. The 2 boys were a little rough at the beginning. They always were like running off, disappearing. The middle one, like, we used to have what we called a hypermart in Dallas. It was at the time the world's largest grocery store. And I said, when we walked in, I said, look, just don't move my side. It's the world's biggest grocery store. He goes, okay. Took off. So I looked for an hour for this kid. I looked for an hour. I finally had to go up to the front. I said, look, my son's gone. Maybe we need to call the police. They went, okay, what's his name? I said, Adam. They went, oh, okay. We have a code, Adam, for an atom? I said, oh, hell, they already got a code named after you. That ain't good. It ends up, it was for children that were being abducted. And I was like, oh, that's not even good either. Well, they found him. We found him. And then we lost him in a Camper World. The other thing is with the boys is we were always, about every other month, we were on the way to the emergency room. I don't know if you guys have this issue with young boys. It'd be like every other month. Adam, get off that roof. Oh, shit. Get in the car. And Adam, don't pet that dog. Oh, shit. Back to the crib. I mean, then one evening he comes in, y'all remember when you told me not to play with knives, you might poke your eye out? Well, I did it. So we were always in the emergency room with that kid, or he was disappearing one or the other. So and the youngest one, he didn't have it too bad but he did, his mother came home when he was 2, and she was unloading the groceries thinking he'd be safe in his car seat, because they're all strapped in there. That little sucker somehow got out of his car seat, ran across the busy road to go hang out with the teenagers. He was 2. Why call the police? I'm amazed they didn't take these kids away from us. We asked them to, but they just kept bringing them back. I was like, okay. So the boys weren't too bad. You know, we made it through them. About 8 years old, they quit doing that, where they disappear, because we quit looking for them. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Then we had the daughter. She was kind of my little girl. She was our first, so it was trial by error. If anybody has a kid now, don't worry, you're going to screw them up. That's just the way it is. I always think about parenting. If somebody asks me about parenting, I always say, you're going to screw it up a whole lot more times than get it right. So I like baseball. You're going to screw it up. Just accept it. It's going to go wrong most of the time. Try to bat about 300, and you're not too bad. But anyway, she was our first, so we kind of had a lot of testing going on. But she was my little girl. She went out of town with me. When we'd go out of town, we'd watch movies together. She would go to the grocery store with me. And then on the way to the grocery store, it was only a mile. We played 50 questions. Dad, why is that guy driving that? Dad, why is the sky blue? Dad. It was amazing me because it was only a mile away, but how she got into 50 questions in that mile, 10-minute drive, she was able to do it. And then we'd get to the store, and I signed her up for the cookie club, because they would shove a cookie in her mouth, and that shut her up for a while. But she was also kind of you know how kids are, they don't have a filter. They like to tell, she's like, Dad, look at the thing on that lady's face. It's like, yeah, it's a mole. Shh, Dad, that guy hadn't taken a bath in weeks. I said, I know. Just be quiet, okay? And then she would always question every person. Of course, we got all the looks when we went in there. But she was my little girl. And then she hit about 13. And I blame because she started listening to this wild band, you know, how parents are like, well, she started listening to this really wild heavy metal band, the New Kids on the Block. And I was like, yeah, it's like that's when it all started. But I walked into her room all the time, because like I said, she was my little girl. And I walked into her room one day, and I'll never forget, it was like yesterday. And it was yesterday. But anyway, I walked into her room, And I said, hey, Mandy Moss, I'd done 100 times. And she looks up at me,
What do you want?
I just kind of said hello.
I'm on the phone. You were supposed to knock on. You didn't knock. You didn't knock. Get out.
So I walked up backwards, thinking any minute her head's going to swing around. And as I'm walking out, I shut the door and I think, wait a minute, I own this home. I'm the dad here. This is not going to work. Then I remembered seeing the movie The Exorcist. You guys seen The Exorcist? So then I thought better of it. So I walked down the hall. I think my wife could tell by the look on my face. She said, she's not your little girl anymore. I said, I know. Should we call the Catholic Church? Should we get some holy water or something? She said, no, it's puberty. I was like, well, was that going to last a month, a couple days? No, 6 years. 6 years of puberty. And I'm telling you, you never knew when it was going to come on. That was the thing about a teenage girl. A teenage girl, you just never knew when it was going to come on. Be like you ever ran into like a little dog and it's like, just really happy to see you. And you go down there to pet it, and it takes 3 fingers off. That's the way a teenage daughter would do. She could come into the room and go, hey, Dad, how's it going? Pretty good.
Well, you don't talk to me. You're not supposed to talk to me. You don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you.
Okay. But that was just puberty. That was puberty. Let me tell you, anybody has a teenage daughter. I know some of you guys are a little younger. Maybe you have a daughter in the future. Oh, Jared's got one. And I gave him the same advice. I said, whatever you do, don't let them know don't show them sweat. Don't ever let them know you're scared. You're going to be scared, though. You're going to be very, very scared, sir. You're going to run as fast as you can on some days. But don't ever let them know that. Number two, don't ever let them know you're wrong. You know why? Because they're never going to admit they're wrong. So don't let them know you're wrong. No matter how right she was, she could tell me the sky was blue. Like, nope, it's cloudy. Not blue, not cloudy. I would never let her know that she was right. I always had to work with her on that. There's no way I'm going to let her know that she was right. And she finally grew out of it. But we had several incidences where when we talked about her arguing, and I'd have to ground her because she'd just keep coming back. And I'd have to go, yeah, you're grounded for 2 weeks. Well, you're the worst parent ever. And I'd yell at her, I hope you have one just like you. And she'd walk off, and my wife would look at me, that's just great. I said, well, you hurt her now. I know, but we're going to have to live with her for the next 2 weeks. I said, not me, I'm going out of town. I got to work. So I don't have to deal with her. And then I remember one of my favorite stories about her is one day she came home and she was loaded. She was about 15, and she was drunk as a skunk. And she comes in and she walks to the door, and we always told her, don't drive. And whatever you do, don't drive. She wasn't driving yet, so that wasn't a problem. But she did come in, and she goes, I said, you are drunk. She goes, no, I'm not drunk. That's your imagination. I had 1 beer. I'm like, no way, I could smell it from here. No, and she kept arguing with me. I thought, just go to bed. I don't care. Get drunk all you want. Just don't bring me into it. Father or mother called her on the bluff, says, I'm going to take him to the hospital and get her tested. I said, that's fine, you do that. So she took her up there. She called me and says, I said, how's it going? She goes, well, your little girl is passed out on the front of everybody here at the hospital. And they're kind of looking at her. And so they had to give her this charcoal because it soaks up the alcohol. She blew like a 1.8. I mean, that girl would have been drunk in Wisconsin, you know? So I'm like, yeah, but she wasn't drunk. Even the next night when I was cooking up bacon and sausage and stuff like that, I wasn't drunk. Yeah. So that's what we went through with the daughter. But, just the difference with the 3 kids, too, going back to the 3 kids. Amanda and Adam, and then there's Eric. With Amanda, we got her name. We spent time on her name. Anybody here had a baby soon? Recently? A younger child? Anybody? Younger child, how old?
14 months.
4. Oh, wow. Boy or girl? Girl. Oh, is that why you're sweating? Yeah. It's trouble. I'm telling you, get 14 good years. And, some people mention maybe just put them in like they hit 14, just putting them in a box or something and just ship them somewhere or something. But you'll do okay. Yeah, poor bastard. Anyway, so you get this is your first? Third. Okay, now you might relate to this. Your first one, it's like, you're all like, oh wow, my first kid. You got their baby book, everything they do, everything. This is what we did with ours. We did everything they did. We wrote it down. And even the name, we spent time on the name. My wife came up with the name. It was actually from Miss Kitty from Gunsmoke, you know, the town whore. Yeah, that's how we got Amanda. She was the actress that played Miss Kitty. And then Adam, our second one, we spent a little time trying to figure, because, you know, we're going to have a boy, we're kind of excited, we got the girl and the boy. So we spent some time, and my wife was reading a romance novel, and in the book, his name was Adam, and he was the town gigolo. Do y'all kind of sense a theme going on with my kids? So we had our third, and we were just, you know, you get to your third, you guys know what I mean. You're just worn out. You get the third one, you don't put anything in their baby book, at least we didn't. You know, like 4 years later, we went back and started writing. Well, let's see, what do you want? Yes, that's a good day. I mean, because they're the third, you're just not, and then he was a boy, so we only had a boy and girl, so he was just, you know, Eric. You know, we first were trying to get in his name, and my wife loves Cary Grant, so she wanted to call him Archibald. And I said, no, I don't want him to get beat up like his whole elementary school. No, Archibald's not going to work. Let's try it out. Archie! No, that didn't work. So I'm watching a movie, and Kirk Douglas is doing a movie, and we're sitting at the hospital. We got to come up with a name, because they need a name. And we're sitting there, I'm going, here's Kirk Douglas. He's doing a movie, it's called The Viking, and it was Eric the Red, and I said, how about Eric? She said, okay. It's like, what are we going to do for the middle name? Just name him after you. I was like, all right. So Eric Thomas it was. We were best because we had Amanda and Adam. We wanted to go with an A name. So we thought about spelling it A-I-R-I-K. Eric! Eric! Sound like you were choking something up. So we went with the original, the E-R-I-K. So, you know, it's just... Sorry. So that's kind of what we decided to go with. Anyway, so it's tough being a dad. That's my point, that it's tough being a dad. I'm going to do a couple dad jokes for you real quick. I told my wife, you know, I said the other day she was doing something. I said, honey, you need to embrace when you mess up. Embrace your screw-ups, okay? She came over and gave me a hug. You know, I haven't really spoke to my wife in 4 years. I just felt like I shouldn't interrupt her. You know when Forrest Gump has his code that he's got to put in? He's got to put in his computer. You know what it is? It's 1 Forrest 1. Think about it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's about my time. We're going to bring up the next comic. This guy's totally different than me. He's young compared to me. So he's going to give you a little young inside of. He's not quite a father though, but he'll give you some insight of trying to be a father. Anyway, it's the great Chris Suttle.